All right, welcome to another video. Today we're going to take a look at Microsoft. It just released earnings. I'm going to give you some takes on it and my personal insight. If you want me to review a personal stock that you have, check out our Discord channel and you can request one in there. And of course, you can always grab a coaching session with me if you like on the Traders Fly website. All right, so let's kick things off. Microsoft here released earnings not too long ago. It says it beat Q2 earnings estimates 22 hours ago. Microsoft beats earnings and revenues, delivers upbeat forecast. All right, awesome, amazing. And they've got some great laptops and some good mouse and keyboards and stuff and Xboxes and all that good stuff. So anyway, if you take a look at this, it seems like it's doing well. Good for them. And let's just see if it's worth buying, or let's look at some technical analysis levels and see what we're doing. Okay, so looking at the monthly chart, if we just check out everything that's going on here, the stock still continues on an uptrend, right? It's just on an uptrend. It's not continuing on a downward trend like this. So it still looks good and fine from this perspective. If you look at kind of the weekly time frame, it's a little bit shaky. Like, people are a little bit worried about it. But what I want to show you and pinpoint here for you is that I've got some moving averages here for you, and these are just different moving averages from 10, 21, 34, 55, and 89. So it's just kind of like swim lanes where the stock is just swimming, making sure it's kind of staying above water. And you can see a handful of times it'll come down to the white line right here, and it holds. Other times it'll come down to the blue line, but right now it came down to this orange line, and it's still holding for now. What I want to show you here is if you really just back up, there's a few times it does hit to the red line, because if it hits the red line and starts rolling over, that's a little bit more of a problem. But I want to pinpoint a few other things here. Like, take a look here in 2019, we hit the orange line and then still continued higher for quite a long time. It was a buying opportunity. Here's another time where it hit in 2016, a couple of times on the orange line and once on the red line. So it just basically hit it like 3 times there, orange and red, but it's still a buying opportunity for the long haul, right? If you're a short-term trader, that's a different story. For a long-term investor, that's fine. Here as well, 2015, you can see hit there, orange line. We hit a few times. So in other words, as you start backing this up, we start looking at some of these levels, the stock has been moving fairly well. We've hit the red line a couple times here over the last few years. The orange line was kind of hit there once or twice over the last few years, but the stock's doing fine and well. The problem lies a handful of times when this does break that red line, it can stay below it. Okay, so you can see we did have that a few little issues in 2010, 2011, 2012, but lately it's just been doing fine. So for now, the trend is still intact for a long-term investor. For a short-term trader, that's a different story. So as we start looking into here and to the shorter-term realm, we did gap up here after earnings, and it's pushing into some higher prices, about 5%. And with this gap, people did a quick gap and fade, it looks like. So it gapped up right here, and they kind of faded it. So now we're going to see if this gap gets a little bit more filled. There is an empty spot, which means there's a little bit of weakness. But there's nothing that says it can't hold this price level, because as you saw, we've been holding those levels in the past from a longer term perspective, because we're kind of there. And that's where we're kind of hanging out right now. So you're also seeing that kind of the support back here in September. So as we go into here and you zoom in on it, you can see this was a red line here, and now we're trying to hold that same price level. And that stock is holding that price point. The other level to kind of watch is right here, right around that 300, 305, and we're starting to break above it. So right now, one day doesn't make a trend, but it is showing some healthiness to it. And if we can stay above that over the next couple of days, then we should be back in this world where we're starting to move at least in this sideways rectangle area. And then, from here, we'll see if we kind of fill in the space, watching for a possible break up there, or a rejection around like this 345 level or so. So anyways, that's what we're looking at here on this stock, is just, as it goes into here, watch for the next few days if you can stay above here. If we start rolling over right here, then all bets are off. And then right here, we're going to see if that 285, 280-ish can still hold, because now, that 280 is a critical line. And if we can't hold and get back above that level, right now staying above this 305, this level right here, if we can't stay above that, then that stock is still going to have some serious weakness, and we'll see, because it's just one day, right? One day news is great, next day, it's not good. So be careful with that one day. One day does not make a trend. Anyways, I hope that makes sense, at least from a shorter term perspective. Other than that, you do have this descending trend line that is starting to break a little bit. So that does look good. But again, one day, Fed announcement today just happened. They're not changing the rates. But I have seen it in the past where these markets, you know, they power higher. Like look at this. The market's kind of idle. But so I have seen it where they can go like this and then just tank, all right? And that's kind of what was happening right here. But then I've also seen that the next day you can pop higher. So be careful. Let all this stuff digest a little bit. And see what happens. Just spread that stuff out, because you don't know here how we're going to really play out right now, because we've got a lot of volatility here after this Fed announcement, and we'll see how it all goes. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the week ahead, and I will see you next time.